Hello there guys, welcome back to the e-bike repairs YouTube channel. My name's Darsh and I take apart and fix super fun and exciting stuff. In this case, e-bike batteries today. So, I've got this in today. It is the battery from an A to B QO Plus. So that is a 36 volt, 8.8 excuse me, amp hour battery pack. Because it's A to B, it's full of all sorts of nonsense inside, but we'll get to that. On the top we've got a little capacity indicator. The wires come off for that, so that's not showing anything. We've got our charge port there with the little rubber flap. We've got our on-off switch for the battery there. Now this battery is currently working but doesn't hold its capacity. You've got a little handle here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws along the top. They are T20 screws. They look like that. I took them out because I had to order the cells for this in advance of now. I needed to remember how many cells there were in here. 40 is the answer, 20 on the top, 20 on the bottom. But yeah, so you've got some long screws and some short screws. So the long ones look like that, and the short ones look like that. The long ones, 1, 2 of them go there. The short ones, 3 of them go there on the top, because the long ones need to reach through this longer part of the case here and actually go into something useful, and there is where the short ones go. As you can see, that would be too long to fit there, and then all the rest of the long ones go in the bottom of the case. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long ones on the bottom of the case. Once you pop the top off, you're greeted by this, which is nothing in and of itself too special. You've got a couple of connectors and bits like that. That's that broken off wire that goes to the battery capacity indicator there. And you've got a fuse here, 30 amp fuse for discharge. Now, the real problem here is this board here. This board here is the A to B board, BMS board. It's like a regular BMS, except this subboard here is for communication back to the battery. If it doesn't get that, it doesn't like it. So these bits here, they talk back and forth with the rest of the bike. And yeah, as I say, if it doesn't see that, your bike's not going to work. The QO Plus has a LCD screen on it, and yeah, very long story short, it needs that. Or you've got to change all the electronics over to like a generic kind of system. I think is it sensorless? I've got the bike right here actually, just off camera, and it is, nope, censored, hall censored, this one, which is kind of a good thing, I think. Sorry, I've not tried the clips on the floor. It being not sensorless is great because that means you can resell this battery, or replace this battery with an aftermarket one. They make these, they're called what are they called? Tomahawk, Mohawk, Coyote, something like that. They're called one of these anyway. Can't remember now off the top of my head, but anyway, that. And they are widely available. They should fit onto the existing mount on your bike, or you get a new mount. They don't use the communication wires, and you could replace the controller that lives on the bike with a different controller, and then still have change the screen round to a KT controller or something like that, and then the bike would still work. Anyway, we're trying to keep everything standard for this lady. And yeah, so first up, I'm going to have to resolder that back on because it's come off. I don't know if that happened when I pulled it off or if it didn't work before. I don't remember. And then to actually get the battery out of here, there are these little screws here, and they are covered in silicone, but I think they're Phillips head screws. Teeny tiny little things, and there's one lives there, one lives there, and one lives there. And that takes this board off here. So there's a plastic board that lives on top of the cells, and then this one, the BMS board, is also on top of that plastic board. It's very confusing. A to B stuff, none of it ever made any sense. To get the bottom off, it's completely covered in this very, very, very sticky sheet of, I'm stuck to the bottom of the cells so hard, I almost ripped all the nickel off the bottom of the cells. You see all the nickel is deformed, which is kind of crazy. So what I did was I got brake cleaner. I know I'm reselling this battery anyway. You know, it's, I don't know, best part 7 years old or something, it needs doing. I got some brake cleaner and I filled this bottom part up with a load of brake cleaner. I sprayed it in and that loosened up the adhesive enough that I could pull it off. I couldn't pull it off without doing that. It was so stuck on there because the battery had all its weight sat on that for a very long time. Now, after that's loose, this part of the pack here, the outer, thinks it might, maybe, think about moving. It's not going to until we get more stuff off it. Okay, it's going to go that way. It's going to go that way. What's stopping us? These wires. Okay, so these 3 wires, which are the communication back to the controller, are a no-go. I'm getting a bit more promising now. Next up, what's stopping us is this. This will be the discharge connector, be a bullet connector I feel like underneath there, or double bullet connector as it were. Pull that one apart, like that. Now what's holding you on there? Don't even know now. Nothing. Very good, that's how you do it. They've got to poke up this little channel here, and then the pack can slide up and down, which is nice. So now that's off, I'll put that back on there so I know which way up it went. Got our case now. And to resell this, I'm going to have to get this BMS board off. So what's holding it on? Let's have a look. Grab myself some cutters. Snip that little cable tie there. So that's loose. So first of all then, let's deal with the balance wires here. In fact, we could leave the balance wires on, couldn't we? We could. Yes, we could. We could leave all this on. That's got to get soldered on there. Shall I solder that back together? Maybe I'll do that before I forget. There it is. And there's that one. Bit of flux. Give us the best shot. Actually having this work, and a little bit of solder on there. There you go, excellent. Solder on that pad. Yeah, it's taking. Let's try and turn that around so it's the same way. That'll need gluing in place, but now the battery indicator there lights up. Hopefully you can see that. It lights up again now. Turn that off. Right, so we want to disconnect power from this BMS and see if it comes back to life. Now, in order to do that, we're going to have to disconnect a couple of things so we can get this board off, because the negative is right up there and I can't get to that. So shall we start with disconnecting the positive terminal, which is this one here. So these are 4P groups, so 10S 4P, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5P there, 5S there, and 1P of, so each group is 4 cells, and then the same on this side. How do you go? I'm going to do without blowing anything up, just like that. And this will want just cutting. The heat shrink off there. There we go. Then I can get my soldering iron and take those off. That's a good start. So that's the main positive disconnected. As far as I'm aware, this is going to come back to life when I'm all done and dusted and not cause me any horrible issues. Fingers crossed. And then, so I'll go around each face and peel off the original tape, if I can. I thought I was going to do that. It's been on there a while, the tape. I'll have to God. I wanted to remove the JST, but might not be happening actually. Let's get that off. And this off. Oh, that's been on there a while. There's actually a helpful connector here, look. Another single bullet connector. For the main negative. It's going to let me just pop that straight off. Oh, that's handy. Well done. We've got our temp sensor here. Then what else is going to be held onto the board? Oh, I have a phone call, bear with me. Oh, how exciting, someone's coming to pick up a bike. Right, okay, so I've got that side of the JST off and that side of the JST off. There we go. Does that mean that this whole thing comes off? No, we've put balance leads underneath the... Of course we have. Why would they make it easy? Okay, so there's solder mask here. Oh, right, okay, they're just... Well, they're all snapped off anyway, so I guess I'll be adhesiving that back on. So there's our BMS there. Got our, what look to be capacitors all along there, special board. I can't see what's underneath this and I don't want to. All I know is it does what it does and it hopefully doesn't break, and our MOSFETs are over here. And then hopefully I don't break it. That's what matters. Get these bits of tape off as well. One, two. Okay. And what are you held on with? More tape. Cutty cutty. Goodbye tape. Okay. And there's that piece. So we're left with just the bare pack of cells here. Main negative, main positive. So I'll go down along one of these. Somewhere there'll be a join. Don't know where. Not there. This feels promising, doesn't it? There's the join there, where the two sort of upper and lower packs join together. There's a tab that comes off each of them there and joins them up. And then these will be, if I can break it apart now. There it goes. God, you can see how hard I was trying that. The glue on this has been together for quite a while. Then there's one of our cell packs. It's just held together with that one tab I pointed out a minute ago. Separated with these nice thick pieces of fiberboard. Now, in order to resell this pack, I'm going to have to make it exactly how it was, which involves taking all these cells out and reusing the cell holders, they can be positioned, the cell holders, when you're putting it together, all the way up or down. They actually move. There's nothing securing them in place, top or bottom, which is really annoying because you end up with a slightly wonky pack normally, but I'll do my best, of course, to make it straight. You see these ones are actually poking out. That's where they've moved up and down in the cell holders. That can happen when you're trying to put these together. It's a bit of a pain, but it's overcomable. It's a bit of patience. So yeah, what I'll do is I will get this all stripped apart, because I'm going to have to take it all off to get the pictures of how it was, so I can of course replicate it, and then all my balance connections, where they go, where the little tabs end up coming out of the pack, because I want to replicate where it was, because I know where it was. It doesn't get in the way of various mouldings inside the case. Like here, there's a random one that just sticks out from the side, which I can get my finger under, but if I end up with wires here, it doesn't go back in the case, and it's really annoying. So yeah, I'll be trying to replicate this as close as possible. So I'm going to cut away, I'm going to take my pictures, I'm going to disassemble the entire thing. You don't need to see me ripping a load of nickel strip off, it's boring. And then what I'll try and do is cut back once I'm reassembling it. I've got some LG MH1 cells to go in here, so it'll be 10S, 4p of those, which will be, you know, just more. These aren't those, these are some Eve 25p's I've got for something else, but it'll basically be me replacing the cells and then replacing the nickel strip, and it's all very exciting. And then we'll see if it works when it's put back together. Very good. I will cut back in quite a while, because this is going to take ages. Okay, cutting back quite a while later. I have rebuilt the pack. I tore these by hand, and apparently I can't stick them on straight, so they look all wonky. But ultimately, you know, they're just barley paper strips. They don't really do anything apart from stop this touching that, which is fine. And I popped a bit of barley paper on the top, but there's all nickly joy underneath there. Oh, would you look at that? There you go. And then there's the original, what do you call that? Separator there. That's one side of that I made up out of as close as I can strip-wise to what was there. I did have that perfectly lined up, but now it's moved, obviously. Wouldn't be that simple, would it? Hopefully this all fits back in where it's meant to. Hopefully. We shall see. So, I really thought that might have been attached, but it's kind of attached. Till I get some tape around it, it's stick together. Relatively attached. So yeah, a bit of barley paper on the top, bit of barley paper on the bottom, cell separators in the middle, barley paper underneath all the balance tabs, as it were. And then I've got to solder back on the negative lead, the positive, and the balance wires, get it plugged back in, and see if it works. Very exciting stuff. Not too far off now. What I'll probably do first is tin all the tabs. So, to make it easier to pop the balance leads on when I want to, is just apply a bit of solder to each tab. I wish I'd stuck these on straight, and I wish I hadn't torn the barley paper. I wish I'd done it with scissors, because now it looks horrible. But here we are. It is what it is. I don't suppose it matters if this goes up or down. This is the bit that joins everything together. That made all, you know, smooshing and stuff. Should be those ones. And up here we've got our main negative and main positive. What could I lean you on? This. Hopefully this will be another video. Putting new cells in this power bank. The chap dropped off with me. It's got 8 cells in it, and these are new. What are these? MH1s. LG MH1s. They replaced the Samsung 32Es. I think they're in there. basically identical, which is good. I believe that's it then, in terms of tinning. Let's just keep going with you. Be back over top there, how you were. So there was this main negative wire here. I don't think we had a negative balance wire. You want more solder than that. That's what you want. Be a bit more like it. Wait for that to change colour eventually. There we go. That's that one. I think that one ends up going a bit sort of that way. But I'll have to stick a bit of, oh look, an offcut, a bizarrely shaped offcut of barley paper from the top. It doesn't really matter what shape it is, I don't think, remotely. Obviously it looks prettier with the right shape, but why chuck it in the bin? That bit wasn't actually big enough. It turns out it needs a much bigger bit, that kind of size, to go over there, but now it's got lots of layers. Doesn't want lots of layers. And I don't actually know if that's going to be long enough, so I might need to just give that a little slice up there so it can pull up there properly. Okay, it's a bit more like it. Right, so I've got the balance leads to solder on now. Oh, crikey. So, what way round was that BMS? Was that way, was it? Oh god, I can't remember now. Oh lord. I guess it was that way round. I only took it apart an hour or two ago. Crikey, how good my brain is. Is that way up? And then where did these broken little guys end up? Oh yeah, look, that way. Clearly that way. So that went on there, just like that. Which means that the balance leads went like that. Okay. So we've got the big red one, which starts on that end. That's going to end up going down here to the main positive. And then it's going to swap over. What comes next after you? The white one. Oh yeah, didn't they all go on the other side or something? I've got the pictures somewhere. Oh, there we go. Of how they all ran, so I can refer back to that and how they were before I took it apart, of course. There you go, look, the brown and the white one ran over, so did that one and that one. The red and the grey one. How have I managed to take the picture like that? Oh, never mind. Stupid. Look at that there. The connector was spun around like that. That makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? So after the big red one, there we get the big white one. Which goes somewhere. Let's have a look. So we can find where it was. That's the wrong side. There you go, look, that's the right side. There's the grey one and the red one went on one side. Up there. And then the white one and the brown one were the two close together tabs. I still feel like this is backwards. Bear with me, I'm going to do some thinking because apparently doing it on camera confuses me. Huh, figured it out, I'm an idiot. I had the whole pack upside down. So that, look, that's not the positive, that's the negative. Which would explain why I was quite so confused. I was thinking nothing was where it was meant to be and it didn't make sense. Oops. This is why we check things. We all make mistakes. Yet another fantastic reason to take pictures beforehand, so you know exactly when you started being an idiot. All makes sense then. Tons and tons and tons of sense it makes, to be honest. Right, so you go on that way. For the positive. Makes a lot more sense now. On this side, we've got the orange on top here. We've got the purple next. I say next, these aren't actually in the right order, it's just the next one that I'm doing. The blue goes all the way down here to the bottom. The green goes to this bad boy. And the yellow needs to join up here. I suppose while we've got this here, I could apply my barley paper that then goes over the connections just to keep them all safe and secure. Again, excuse the fact that they're offcuts, but then when I put the ones on each end, I was left with a load of excess. So obviously bits like this aren't really very useful, but you know, they can go in places anyway. Seems a shame to just be chucking them away. But yeah, I ended up with loads of fairly random sized and shaped offcuts. And no, I'm not using scissors. You can always do it yourself if you don't like it. I'm not going to put the one on the positive yet because I've got the main positive wire there, I think it is, to install. Right, and then let's check Shrek meme. This side here. Flipping it over. Makes a lot more sense now. Oh, I've got a telephone call. You wouldn't believe it. Somebody else is coming to get a bike. Shocking, isn't it? Right, so the grey goes all the way down there. The red goes up here. The brown is on the top and the white's on the bottom. Fantastic. Bit more of an offcut here. Why not use it? It'd be wasteful to chuck it away. Okay, excellent. Right, I want to hold the balance leads in place with something. What can I use? Obviously tape. What kind of tape? I've got some of this. This is like car wiring loom cloth tape, which I found is pretty good for stuff like this. It's not quite exactly the same stuff that they use from factory. They use something very similar but not quite the same. I found it's pretty good. So when you put it on immediately, it's not that sticky, which is a bit of a shame. But after it's sort of been on there for a couple of days, it tends to really, really stick on there, which I like. So I'm using this partially to hold the two halves of the pack together. Obviously they should all be press fit inside the case, but of course we don't want any movement if we can avoid it. That's something we're not after. I'd love to put a big bit of tape around there, but I can't because of the way it all sits in the case. It's not going to work. It's the incredibly long and short of that. We'll have our temp sensor to go in here, so I'll do that one in a minute. Random bit of solder. Let's get you on there. Just like that. Just doing that gently so I don't end up slicing through the wires. It would not be good now, would it? No. Very good. Okay. So we've got to work on getting this lot all put back on the pack now. So, well, you being sat on there, that's fine. You do just sort of stay on there, don't you? I wondered if these actually interacted with the things, and now I've put barley paper on there, it can't. Yes, look, there are 3 holes there. Stabby object, but not metal. Plastic stabby object. Where's that gone? There we go, look, a dibber for doing plants with. See what that does. I think that's a no to that fitting in there. You can feel that they want to interact, but they're never going to go down into it. Oh, unless I hit them. Got a little rubber mallet here. I might try and just. Doesn't feel promising, does it? No. Well, there's another screw there, but it's just sheared completely off the thing. What I'll do then is probably just snip off these little standoffs. And use some of this, which is just double-sided foam tape that should hold that on absolutely fine until I've got everything back in the case. How did that sit? Like that. I hope something a bit like that. That went on there. That main negative can plug in. Oh, the man is here. Right, that took a bit longer than I thought it was going to be honest. We were having quite the chat. Anyway, I'm back now, and I suppose that's what matters. I don't need to worry about popping it in its case right now. I'll do that afterwards. We just want to know if it works. So for the purposes of that, I do not need to touch the temp sensor to the side of this. All I need to do is get this main positive lead soldered on and plug the balance leads in. I will check the balance leads on my testing machine to make sure that I've, not done anything backwards, just on the off chance, because as much as I try not to be, I am an idiot, so, it can happen. Let's get a bit of solder on there, solder that main positive on. It's going to go on the same one that we put the balance lead on earlier. Give that a moment to cool off, wait for the solder to change colour and go dull instead of shiny, just like that. And then pop a bit of this over it. Barley paper's good stuff, nice and sticky. Really helps get everything together. Okay, so let's get our super duper handy dandy battery testing machine. Turn it on. Actually, battery balancer, but anyway, I've been over it in some other videos. Our main positive's that side. Our negative's that side, but we're missing it. There's no pin for it. And, oh, it's a big JST. Okay, great. I've even got enough room for that. There you go, 3.601 volts across the board, or 0.001 volt drop, and it's only seeing 9 strings, not 10 strings, because the negative doesn't actually go to the balance connector, it pulls the negative straight off the main negative here. Fantastic. Yeah, these are not going to be staying on there, are they? What I'll probably do, get a blob of super glue on each of these. If in doubt, use too much. I like to make sure the spout is clear. Otherwise it'll fill up, and then next time you want to use it, it won't be any good. Also, Pro Glue glue. Look at that, C1020 ethyl cyanoacrylate. Fixture time 10 seconds at 20 degrees Celsius. It's a bit under that temperature right now, but that'll be fine. Let's see if I can get this on here first go round in the right place without messing it all up. Oh yeah, look at that, it wants to sit there. It's happily sitting there. And I use a bit of activator spray. Now, using the activator spray afterwards, I believe, causes the spray to set from the outside, the glue to set from the outside in. Whereas if you apply it to the piece you're going to put on first, then it sets from the inside out, and it takes less time or something. But I didn't know if I could get that in line perfectly and immediately, because it's quite a quick thing. And then let's get this balance connector hooked up to the board there. Is that setting? Yeah, it's setting. Okay, so fold these over nicely. Like that. And they're just going to go on there like that. Nothing's going to go bang. Perfect. Right, do we have life? Oh, we do, look at that. We have life. That's fantastic. And then charger wise, I'm just using a bog standard 36 volt charger here. Nothing special. Just my test charger. I think I've got the customer's charger. I do. But anyway, we'll do this. Charging. Look at that. So, I will get this all back together. Try it out on the bike. But and of course test the pack and make sure it's holding its capacity properly. But it would seem as though you can in fact resell an A to B QO Plus 36 volt battery provided the BMS is in good shape. There doesn't seem to be any reason why this wouldn't work. Which is exciting. Obviously don't plug that into their red wire to black wire, no. This looks like a Scotch log. Ugh, horrible. Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? Well, I'll do my testing before I put this back in its case. I'll make sure everything's good to go. Get my discharge wires here. Get my temp sensor on, make sure it fits, because I bet there's some finagling to do and something doesn't quite fit, because these are always a huge pain in the bottom. Should we check? Let's check. Let's say it doesn't quite fit there. It's here. It's just at the back there. Oh, hello. No way. Wow. Did not expect that to fit. They're always a huge pain in the bum and they never work. Isn't that incredible? Wow. What good news. There's no heat shrink on this pack. it just doesn't get any, basically. It's the very long and short of that. Foam wise, I wonder how tight a fit this is, or if we'll be able to get a little bit of foam tape on there. I've got this stuff, which is really thin. Might do the job, actually. I'd just like to see a little bit of padding on the bottom here. There might be some underneath this, actually. It does feel squishy, but I can't tell because it's just so glued down. I'm not sure, so I'm going to stick just a little bit on there. Maybe just a couple of strips to hopefully just do 3 strips, shall we? We'll do 3 strips. Just to alleviate any shocks. If it gets any, of course. Hopefully, you know, it's treated well and not mashed about and smashed about too much, but you never know. Things happen, accidents happen. Just a little bit of foam in there. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, or I'll find nothing fits, of course. There you go. It can go like that. That cable went under there and went onto there. The discharge cables went. God, that's warm, whatever's in there. What is that? Probably a diode or a fuse or something going to the charge port, but that's hot. It's quite warm. I say hot, it's just warm really, but. And the fuse was down here hiding, and the positive plugged in there, and the negative plugged in there like that. And the top just went on. Oh, look at me, Mr. Popular. Okay, back again. Right, let's see if this all goes back together now. I'm running into something a little bit, oh hello, a bit squishy here. Or not squishy, should I say. Doesn't really want to go back on there. Oh, look, it's this part of the case there. There you go. I mean, I think it's that bit. Something's not really going, is it? It feels like it's just this little nub here, which is easily remedied because I have cutters. I should unplug the charger to make life easier. Oh, I think the case is cracked just there, looking at it. It is. Interesting. That's where the seam is. I wonder if just sticking a couple of screws in this is going to make it work a bit better. Let's see. So I was after the T20, the impact, which I've lost. No, I haven't. Dropping things. There we go. I wonder if I should just have a crack at sticking a couple of screws in this and seeing how it goes. Might just need that little bit more pressure to squish it down. Make sure everything's tucked in there. Everything's tucked in there. And there. Sorry, I know you're not centralised. That's probably upsetting, but just trying to do what I can do. Yeah, that's going to go. I'm not putting these 3 tiny screws back in because they didn't hold anything down anyway. After that bit broke, they didn't do anything. Why does that feel like that's gone through a wire on the inside? That feels like that's gone through a wire on the inside. That doesn't. Let me have a little look in here with my camera and see. Torch, torch, torch. I don't think it has actually. Maybe it just wasn't quite lined up. Well, we'll know, because it won't charge, will it? Still charges. Still turns on. Still shows battery. So we should be all good. Oh, that foam's going to make that too tight. Or is it? Will it just go? It might just go. I'd rather squish a bit of foam. Make sure everything in here is really, really nice and tight. Do them all up a little bit at a time. We'll know if it's going on because this seam is going to want to close up. That's not gone right, has it? Look. Something's unhappy just there. It's pushing out almost. I wonder if that just needs sneaking around the other side, perhaps. How could I do that? Push down on there, pull up on there, undo all of them and start again. Very good, undo all of them and start again. There you go, look, it's the right side of that now. The torque values for this are G and T, aka good and tight, but that's all sealed up pretty nicely, hasn't it? I might pop a dab of glue on this, just where the seam's broken there. And ignore the charger doing that. It's my very, very well used charger tip. Really probably wants replacing. It's not the charge port on the device, that's fine. But there we go. You can resell it. How exciting. Shall I try it on the bike? The bike's right here. I suppose I should try it on the bike. One moment, please. Okay. Moment of truth. The lights work, so they turn on and off. You've just got to press that button there. And so does the rear. Ignore the graveyard, we'll just pretend it's not there. Moment of truth. Does it turn on? it does turn on. Oh, and it knows how much battery it's got. That's the kicker. If you don't connect those communication wires, it doesn't know how much battery it's got and it doesn't work properly. So, there you go. 565 miles. Throttle works. All that motor sounds crusty. Might need to look at that while I've got it. And then pedal assist wise, it not even knew the speed it was going then. Pedal assist wise, the pedal sensor's just down there. There we go. And it knew how fast it was going. It's going to go to 0 now, but it knew how fast we were going. Very good. Success. You can do it. A to B, QO plus, original battery. Can you resell it? Yes. Thanks very much for watching. If this sort of thing helps you out, or you've got one that needs reselling, as long as it used to work before. I can't necessarily fix it if the BMS is dead. I don't know till I try it, but if it worked and you just noticed it was down on capacity, I can rebuild it. And there's a cost calculator on the website. 14 amp hour costs, I don't know, 340, 380, whatever it was. I can't remember now off the top of my head. And yeah, problem solved. Thanks very much for watching. And of course, I'm going to test this properly before I give it back. Please feel free to like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.